We're making two, not one, but two really great recipes off of Pinterest. Now again, I don't know who to give the credit to for these recipes, because actually one of them is actually a recipe that was in my cookbook that I printed in 1994. So it's a pineapple cheesecake cobbler recipe. And when I saw it, I thought, wow, this is really making the rounds, and I've never made a video on it. So, and I'll show that to you here in my cookbook in just a minute. And like I said, this cookbook was printed back in 1994. So, and you can do this with peaches as well. It's the same as the peach cobbler that you just put in the pineapple. Now, in my peach cobbler, I didn't drain the peaches. This recipe, they're calling to drain the pineapple, the recipe on Pinterest. So I thought, well, I'm going to do it as they say to do it, and the way that all the reviewers say to do it, and we're going to see how it turns out. But of course, you know me, I'm going to put the Chef Janie twist to it, and I'm going to use that pineapple juice. I'm not going to let that go to waste. No, not me. So come along and let's get started. Okay, this one's called Pineapple Cream Cheese Cobbler. Okay? It takes 1 stick or a ½ cup of butter, a 1/3 cup brown sugar, 1 egg lightly beaten, 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a ½ teaspoon of salt, a ½ teaspoon of vanilla or coconut extract. I'm putting in both. 2 cans of pineapple chunks drained. So they call for it to drain, but I'm reserving the juice. So if you're going to make it my way, reserve the juice, or just put the juice in the refrigerator and drink it. And then 8 ounces of cream cheese. That's 1 package of a larger package of cream cheese cut into chunks. And you'll also need a tablespoon of shredded coconut for garnish, and maraschino cherries, and those are my additions, okay? And you don't have to add the maraschino cherries or the shredded coconut, but that's how my original recipe called for it in my cookbook back in 1994. And then I'm going to make a pineapple custard to go on top of this. It's going to be delicious. And like I said, you can just do the basic recipe, or you can even intermix this instead. You can make this with peaches instead and make a peach cobbler. But we're gonna do the pineapple cobbler like it called for back in '94, but we're gonna drain it like they call for it in the new reviews. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how this recipe turns out, okay? I love to experiment in the kitchen, and if you do too, be sure and hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, because we'd love to have you along for our little homestead ride. All right, I've taken a little bit of Crisco spray, and I buttered and I sprayed down a 9 by 13 inch pan. I put that over here on the stove, and my room temperature butter, you can see that's room temperature right there. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the pan. So let's go over here and let's take a look at that. Okay, I just got my bridge burner on. This is stovetop safe. I'm gonna put in a whole thing of butter here. And I'm just going to kind of butter the pan up here, because this cake's going to rise like a regular cake, and I want to make sure that the good stuff doesn't stick. Plus this helps crisp up those edges a little bit on the cake. Just a little secret I have for you there. And I did spray this with a little bit of the butter flavored Crisco as well. This won't melt off the sides as much here, so and you can just take and use this itself. Okay, let that melt up. Remove this from the heat, and we're going to take a 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar, and we're just going to sprinkle this in. I just kind of rub the point of my thing in here, kind of get that out. And again, that's a 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar. And we're just sprinkling that in here, and we're just going to kind of rub it around. So there we go. If you want a little more, you can put in a little more. I like just 1/3 of a cup. I think that this cake itself is pretty sweet without needing more sugar, because there's going to be sugar in the actual cake mix as well. Now, at this stage, if you'd like, you can sprinkle in just a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg or clove, whatever you like. Here I've got a little bit of this apple pie spice. Let me smell it. That smells pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit of that in here, just a little. Just a little. Not much. And I like the cloves, so I'm going to shake in a little bit of cloves. Now, the recipe does not call for this. This is just me. And I really like the cinnamon, so I'm going to add a little bit of the cinnamon as well. Just a little. Not a lot of anything, just a little. Just to spice it up just a little bit. And again, like I said, oh my gosh, that smells so good. But like I said, you don't have to do this at all. And I'm just going to kind of blend that in and kind of even that clove out in there just a little bit. Make sure there's no big chunks of spices in there. Now, unlike a pineapple upside down cake, you normally would put your pineapple in the juice here in the bottom. You don't do that with this. You're going to put the pineapple in the top instead. So we're going to head over and we're going to make the cake batter next, okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to drain our pineapple into this pan. Do the same thing with this next one. It says both should be drained. Okay, there we have drained pineapple. Okay, that was in natural juice, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to add about a scant tablespoon of cornstarch to this. Got a really good whisk. Okay, there we go. And if you want, you can take and you can slice up some of these pineapples or put a little bit of the crushed pineapple in here, and you can have a little bit of an ice cream topping by doing this, okay? So this, just cool this after you cook it on the stove and simmer it for 1 minute and get this nice and thickened to your liking. You might have to add a little bit more cornstarch, but once you get this to a nice curd thickness, when it cools, it'll thicken up, kind of like a lemon pudding or a lemon curd, okay? And you can put this in the refrigerator and you can use this on, oh my goodness, cupcakes, cheesecakes, little lemon curd cheesecakes. If you're doing a wedding or whatever, you can add a little bit of lemon juice to this if you like, and add a little bit of a lemon tang to it. For me though, I'm going to go ahead and I'm putting this on the dessert. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going, get this boiled up, get this cooled down quickly in the sink of ice water, and then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. So I'll have a great topping for this later tonight. Okay, and you can see here, when you run your whisk through here or a spoon, it kind of leaves a trail. See how nice and getting thick that is right there? And right there is the thickness that we want. Right there, you see that? That's perfect. So we removed it off the heat. We're going to cool this down in a little bit of ice water. We're going to throw this in the refrigerator until we're ready for our topping when the cake is done, but still warm tonight. Now, in our mixer bowl, we are going to add 1 egg. Okay, I'm just going to turn this on so for about 30-35 seconds, I beat the egg. Got it just a little bit foamy. Now we need 1 cup of milk, and my milk is almost room temperature. We're just going to slowly add that into the egg. And again, that was 1 cup of milk and 1 egg. And again, we're going to beat this for another 35 seconds. All right, now we're going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and it does not have to be sifted. You can sift it if you like. That'll make for a little fluffier cake. I'm going to gradually add that in here. Okay. Before we go too far with that, I'm going to add in 1 cup of sugar. Okay, here is 1 cup of sugar. Add that gradually so it breaks that sugar up. Okay. Okay, we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, here I have my homemade vanilla and coconut extracts right here. You can go right here and get that recipe. We've discussed this on several recipes, and you'd want to use a teaspoon of vanilla. I don't have to use as much. This is just a 1/2 teaspoon because this is homemade. And the same with the coconut extract. Again, this is homemade. You can use store-bought or you can omit it. Usually I don't like to do this over the top because this is some strong stuff right here. See, I didn't even hardly put in 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. Since we're giving it a nice tropical flair, I thought that would be good. Here I'm going to sprinkle in some cloves. You can add nutmeg, cinnamon, whatever you like to this. I'm just putting in a couple of shakes of cloves, and a couple of shakes of cinnamon. And I already added that to the bottom brown sugar layer, so pull down here a little bit. I think that it needs it. I'll go ahead and remove this. That's all the ingredients for that. But I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bowl down because whenever you're making a cake, you should always scrape the bowl down. See how a lot of that's still on the sides there? We want all that goodness in our cake. We don't want any of it behind. We want a happy, fulfilled cake. I'm going to blend this together for about 30 seconds. That's it. I'm going to show you the consistency of this. It's pretty loose. You see that? It's a pretty loose batter. Alright, and you can add the coconut to any layer of this. If you want to sprinkle a little bit of coconut here so there'll be a little bit on the bottom, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Alright, now what we're going to do here are 2 cans of pineapple, our bag of sweetened coconut. You can use unsweetened if you like. And we have our maraschino cherries. And remember, we just sprayed the pan a little bit, or you can butter it, whatever you like. And I'm going to use this one here. Now, without mixing our batter into our butter cinnamon layer here that we made, we're just going to pour this and kind of drizzle it right on top gently, just like that, right there. It'll just be a little sea of bath of goodness right there. And don't worry, this is all going to bake up, and then the cake, as it's baking, is going to absorb that butter layer, just like a pineapple upside down cake would do. But I'm definitely not stirring that. Now I'm going to add the pineapple, trying to add this into a single layer the best I possibly can. And I think 1 can of this would have been plenty. We're not big pineapple eaters as far as a lot of pineapple goes. So I think 1 can of this pineapple would have been plenty, and that's the way my recipe in my book calls for it. But I wanted to do what the viewers said they did. Little pineapple juice still left in the bottom for baby. Baby, put a little in the baby bottle there. You can give her a little pineapple juice. Yeah, this, more than 1 can of pineapple, I think that's going to be too much, but we're going to add just a little bit more here. So I'm going to do about 1.25 cans. I think that's going to be plenty, people. I mean, I love pineapple upside down cake. I request it for my birthday every year. So now, this is where I always add my cream cheese. Remember, I'm a cream cheese and sour cream nut. And we're just going to break up chunks of cream cheese and put it over the top of this. And you can use however much you like. I'm a fan of cream cheese. I think 8 ounces of cream cheese is a little much to do the whole thing. So, this reminds me of my blueberry bake that I make, my blueberry breakfast bake, my French toast blueberry breakfast bake. Do you remember the website 360, where we used to all be on that website 360 before we got on Facebook? Facebook was kind of the kids thing, and then we were all on that thing 360. We had multiple pages, and you could do music and different things. Well, when I first started chefing online and had my regular channel, I didn't have a gluten-free chefing channel yet. That was back, let's see, I don't know, Terry, when was that? Maybe Terry Lee will remember. I think that was back in 2000 and what was been the start of the war, so 2001, right in there somewhere. And that's when I put out my first online video, 2001. So I've been online doing chefing, cooking videos for a very long time. Well, I made up that recipe for the blueberry French toast breakfast bake, and now I put it on Pinterest many years ago, and now it's all over Pinterest, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And matter of fact, I think I still have my video up on YouTube where I make it for breakfast about 8-9 years ago for our Christmas breakfast. That was back in the year when I got Jacqueline her Peyton Manning signed football. She cried. You have to go over there. I'm gonna post that video here. You have to go see that video. It's pretty good. My kids love to read, so they cried over books. They loved. We still don't have television like that, so they had to learn to occupy their minds, and they would do it by reading, because we didn't have TV. And that's pretty much. I mean, we were raised with television, but we didn't get to watch television very much. My brother was older, and he kind of overtook the television, so we were raised pretty much without it. We'd all get in trouble for arguing over the channel, so. And then at night, my dad had to have it because we'd watch Sammy Terry. Remember Sammy Terry? Yeah. All right, so I don't get accused of chatting on too much in this video. I'm going to. I think that's plenty. Come on. So that wasn't quite a whole 8 ounce thing of cream cheese. I think that's plenty. What I'm going to do here is I've got some maraschino cherries here. I probably should have drained these first. Well. There we go. I'll scoop them out with this. I think what I'll do is I'll just put on a little bit of the sweetened coconut and just kind of, there we go, just a little bit. Coconut's a laxative. You don't want to put on too much. And I already have my coconut. There we go. I don't like too much. I love coconut cream pie. Raise your hand if you like coconut cream pie. Oh my Lord. All right, and then on each piece, I'm just going to try to squeeze out the juice here. I'm going to put a cherry. Like I said, this is how I made it in my cookbook. You won't see it like this on Pinterest. So if you're wondering why mine's a little different, you got to keep that. I'm gonna try to keep that cherry from sinking. There we go. It'll poof back up when the cake bakes. I'm gonna get rid of as much of that cherry juice as I can so it doesn't keep that cake from baking. Oh my Lord, you like cherries? Oh, I love cherries, especially maraschino cherries. All right, let's do another row. We can do another row. We can get another row of cherries on here. Okay, we're gonna slide this into a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. And we're gonna check the center with a toothpick and make sure that it's done in the center because we have all this different juices and stuff in here. Remember to drain your pineapple on this one. Now, if you were doing the peach cobbler version of this, you would actually keep the juice, most of the juice, I'd say probably half the juice, in a large thing of peaches, a large can of peaches, and then pour that in there and then put this over the top and then sprinkle a little cinnamon, nutmeg, or cloves or whatever on top. I don't usually do the cream cheese when I do the peaches, but that was my mom's recipe. That was her old Amish recipe for peach cobbler. So we're gonna go stick this in the oven, And we will be back here in 45 minutes, and we're gonna dish this up and we're gonna show you just how yummy this is. You gotta try this one, you really do. It is absolutely delicious. The curd here has cooled down to where I can even put my hands on the bottom of the pan here. Okay, and see how that looks inside? And I ended up adding a little bit more sugar to this. I liked a little bit sweeter pineapple curd, so. So now that this is warm to touch, maybe a little bit cooler, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and get this nice and cool for our dessert. Serve it warm on the warm cake if you like. All right, so here it is. I'm not gonna let it quite cool off all the way. I think this would be a lot better warm. We're gonna cut a piece of this out, see how it looks. Here's just a little bit of that custard that I made. I'm gonna give it a nice stir. Still a little warm. Need a lot on there. I like a little extra. There we go. A little extra sauce for Mama. Okay, and we're gonna give this a try. Okay, we're gonna give this a try. There's the cherry in there. See that? There's the cherry. There's that sauce I made for it. Pineapple and some of the cake right here. Oop, lost the cherry. That's really good. You have to give this dessert a try. You really do. You really don't see the coconut or taste the coconut on this. I taste a little bit of my vanilla extract, but I don't really taste the coconut extract. And this is definitely best served warm. I can tell you that right now. Okay. This is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton. We'll be back in a few minutes. Anyway. It's one of those things you can't stop eating. Not even to say, we'll be right back. You know what? I think this is better than pineapple upside down cake. Never thought I'd say that, because that's my favorite. It's mine. Okay, Daddy came in here because he smelled something bacon. See, look in the oven.
Good shot, look, girl.
Yep, yeah, open it up and look. Yeah, that's next. But I want you to go ahead and try the dessert first. Yes, we're having dessert first tonight.
Oh boy.
That's got my pineapple curd sauce on top of that. Pineapple cheesecake cobbler, I guess we'll call it.
That is wonderful.
Isn't that good?
Sweet.
It's not too sweet though.
No, it's not too sweet. And this gives a nice blending flavor of the sweetness.
That curd sauce, I think, makes it. That pudding sauce on top.
Yeah, it is good.
And then the edges are a little crunchy, but the rest of it's pretty tender. I mean, the cream cheese really gives that a nice soft kick, doesn't it? Like a cheesecake.
I like crunchy.
You like the crunchy? You can't eat just one bite, can you? See how fast we can gobble that down?
Yeah.
So score that recipe for me.
I would say a 10.
Oh, you got a 10 on that one. Well, wait till you see what's in the oven. Okay, we'll be back here when we're ready to serve up dinner. Are you going to finish that, or are you going to wait till after supper?
I better wait till after supper because I might have some more of this.
Yeah, look, he's shoveling it in as fast as he can get it. That's a good sign.
It's good.
We'll be right back.